All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. It is November 8th, 2025. And I apologize for not being here quite as much in the last 48 hours. We've got some things going on in the background. They're good. They're good, but they're a lot. So I'm kind of dealing with that. So I'm trying my best to get out there and get you guys a report, at least one for today. So at my time, I put it together, and we're going to be talking about a lot. It's Venezuela, things going on in Mexico. Trump, though, is taking on big beef. A lot of the Supreme Court stuff going on with Trump and all of that. So we're going to be covering a lot of that and other things, of course. Conservative movement is kind of split right now with the pro-Israel and anti-Israel groups. There's some stuff on that. So, all the different things that are making the current landscape as crazy as it is. SNAP thing, Supreme Court came in and said, you know what, they can suspend it right now. So I'm sure that is starting to weigh on the minds of a lot of people, 42 million people. I still can't believe there's that many people that need assistance. 42 million. And it's not like a looking down my nose, wag my finger at them kind of thing. It's just, there's a whole bunch going on with that. But 42 million people is astronomical. And we have to get I don't know what we're going to do with that, but that's unsustainable. Everything in that's the problem. I mean, big picture. Everything that is going on with this country right now, trying to juggle everything, is astronomically unsustainable. And absolutely reminds me of the Soviet Union in the late 80s and early 90s. We're just basically trying to juggle and make everything work. And when you really take the 1,000-yard view, the bird's eye view, it's not sustainable. So I guess we're just going to have to see where all this goes. But you better be preparing, because this is not going to end well, I guess, is the best way to put it. So that's kind of what my thoughts are. So, and on that note, that's kind of what is going on in the background of my family. So when I know a little bit more for sure, I'm going to be a little bit more expressive about that. But it's one of those things where I don't want to say too much about it right now because it could fall through. So it's a good thing, but we shall see where it all goes. Okay, let's get started with the crisis report alert for November 8th, 2025. Here we go. Get the file loaded up. All right. Oh, sorry. That up over here, and then a little bit of that. This thing goes, look here, 503 to 506 every day. It's up 3, it's down 3. It's up 3, it's down 3. So on the note of what's going on in the background of my life, I've got 3 kids. I play music. I played a show last night. I play a show tonight. I do the YouTube thing. Like, I have a lot of stuff going on. The fact that I'm able to come here consistently is honestly, I don't even know how I'm doing it, to be honest with you, right now in this current space. Also with the coaching and all that. So for the 500 plus that are here and aren't going back and forth, because I'm not sitting there kicking out a new report every 42 minutes, thank you for being here and supporting me. All right, here we go. Turkey has issued arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and 36 Israeli officials, accusing them of genocide and crimes against humanity committed in Gaza. Bush. Miriam Adelson is leading a $20 million campaign effort aimed at unseating Representative Thomas Massie. Federal grand jury has issued subpoenas to former CIA Director John Brennan, ex-FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, and others as part of the DOJ's investigation into the Russia hoax. New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani intends to introduce a mandatory tax on all Bitcoin transactions within the city. That ought to kick out any of the crypto folks. Good job, bud. Get them all out. U.S. Supreme Court has issued an emergency order temporarily suspending full SNAP benefit payments for November after a request from the Trump administration. So that, this Judge McConnell or whatever from Rhode Island's like, you guys need to fund it. I don't understand how the Constitution works because obviously the money's come from the presidents because the presidents are gods. It's not the way it works, jackhole. And the Supreme Court just reaffirmed that. So spending comes out of the House. Okay, that's called American Government 101, idiot. Newly leaked documents, and that's McConnell, not you, Judge McConnell of Rhode Island. Look him up. He's an Obama appointee. Newly leaked documents reveal that New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani plans to terminate all city contracts with companies tied to Israel and pull city funds from banks that finance the state of Israel. Multiple hits carried out by Israel with drones in several locations across Lebanon. China has launched the third aircraft carrier. China has commissioned the Fujian, their first homegrown carrier with electromagnetic catapults. 80,000-ton Fujian can launch heavier jets, including J-35 stealth fighters. The Gerald R. Ford is a electromagnetic catapult, and it has its issues. Technology is newer. It's obviously more advanced, but it's got its issues. So they're still working all of that out. So James Watson, co-discoverer of the double helix shaped of DNA, has died at 97. UK's $5.5 billion sterling new British Army tanks are causing sickness and deafness. Troops training in the vehicles have reported needing hospital treatment. An AI system has achieved 600 times the speed breakthrough in the search for signals from space using the Allen Telescope Array. Execution of 300 healthy ostriches by Humane Firing Squad now complete after infectious H5N1 disease claims by Canadian Food Inspection Agency. Trump has endorsed Vivek Ramaswamy for governor of Ohio. He has my complete and total endorsement, and he will never let you down, Trump said. I still don't trust Vivek Ramaswamy. England has launched its largest deployment of F-35 Lightning II fighter jets, with 24 aircraft now transferred to the aircraft carrier HMS Prince of Wales to participate in the Falcon Strike exercise in the Mediterranean Sea. Iranian television yesterday showcased the deteriorating condition of the country's water dams amid an ongoing crisis of water and energy in general. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian also said, if it doesn't rain in the coming weeks, we will have to impose water rationing in Tehran, and if it still doesn't rain, we still have to evacuate, or we will have to evacuate Tehran. That's how bad it is. If you guys are not familiar with a guy by the name of Michael Burry, his Twitter name is Cassandra. He is the guy that basically shorted the stock market and became a super rich person overnight from the 2008 financial crisis. He's saying that water is the 21st century short. There is not a lot of water. Water issues are going to become more and more prevalent. We're seeing this, of course, in Iran here, also seeing it in South Africa. We're seeing it in the Midwest of America. Water is becoming more valuable, if you will. He also said that we will not give up on our nuclear program or our missile program. Iran is still capable of producing nuclear weapons. The Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, said that Iran will possess highly enriched uranium and technological knowledge that allows it, if necessary, to produce nuclear weapons in the near future. U.S. Central Command CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper saluted to the grave of Captain Omer Nutra, whose body was returned from Hamas captivity, and delivered a heartfelt eulogy at the funeral for the military. Your courage inspired many. You embodied the best of both the United States and Israel. You are a hero of two nations. This is a space weather alert following an M74 solar flare from active region AR4274. The U.S. NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center has issued a G3 or strong geomagnetic storm warning. A wave of charged solar particles is expected to reach Earth between the Thursday night and Friday morning, potentially causing temporary disruptions to radio and satellite communications, navigation system errors, fluctuations in high voltage power grids, and the storm may also make auroras visible farther south than usual. Stay tuned. Significant space weather activity is on the way. Foreign Minister Gideon Saar, regarding the arrest warrants issued by Turkey, said Istanbul's prosecutor's office, which has recalled, recently orchestrated the arrest of the mayor of Istanbul merely for daring to run against Erdogan, has now issued arrest warrants for Israeli leaders and senior officials. In Erdogan's Turkey, the judiciary has long since become a tool for silencing political rivals and detaining journalists, judges, and mayors. Israel firmly rejects with contempt the latest PR stunt by the tyrant Erdogan. Standard & Poor's, S&P, one of the world's leading credit rating agencies, has revised Israel's outlook from negative to stable, reaffirming the AA1 credit rating. According to S&P, the stable outlook reflects the assessment that recent military de-escalation has reduced Israel's immediate security risks. So, on the mend. For the third time today, Lebanon reports an Israeli drone attacking a vehicle, this time in the Barashit area in the south of the country. Nicolas Maduro's regime has immediately activated a neighborhood surveillance network inspired by Cuba's Committees for the Defense of the Revolution and China's Red Guards from the Cultural Revolution. The committees are tasked with reporting unusual movements in neighborhoods as part of the plan to militarize and control civilian life. Pentagon has released footage of the aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford in full operation en route to Venezuela. The United States is reinforcing its military presence in the Caribbean. U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced another deadly strike against a boat in the Caribbean in which 3 drug traffickers were killed. As we said before, vessel strikes of narco-terrorists will continue until there is a poisoning of the American people stops. Today, at the direction of the President Trump, the Department of War carried out a lethal kinetic strike on a vessel operated by a designated terrorist organization. Vessel was trafficked narcotics in the Caribbean and was struck in international waters. No U.S. forces were harmed in the strike, and 3 male narco-terrorists who were aboard the vessel were killed. To all narco-terrorists who threaten our homeland, if you want to stay alive, stop trafficking drugs. If you stop trafficking deadly drugs, we will kill you. Or if you keep trafficking deadly drugs, we will kill you. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum ruled out taking a hardline stance against drug cartels and called those demanding tougher actions fascists. Going back to the war on drugs is not an option. It is not an option. Sheinbaum also warned that the country would defend itself against any potential U.S. military intervention. If there were ever a real threat, not just these leaks in international media, we have our national anthem, "A Soldier Was Given to You in Every Son." You are obviously bought and paid for by the Mexican cartels, Claudia Sheinbaum, okay? Instead of all this like word salad crap that you just said, just say, I'm owned by cartels and people will die because I'm a piece of crap. President Trump has called on the Department of Justice to launch an investigation into the meat processing industry, accusing it of illegally colluding, manipulating, and fixing beef prices, directly targeting Brazilian group JBS, owned by the Batista brothers, key allies of President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. I have asked the DOJ to immediately begin an investigation into the meatpacking companies who are driving up the price of beef through illicit collusion, price fixing, and price manipulation. We will always protect our American ranchers, and they are being blamed for what is being done by majority foreign-owned meat packers who artificially inflate in prices and jeopardize the security of our nation's food supply. Action must be taken immediately to protect consumers, combat illegal monopolies, and ensure these corporations are not criminally profiting at the expense of the American people. I'm asking the DOJ to act expeditiously. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Shares of JBS, the world's largest meat processor, fell as much as 6.2% following Trump's remarks, while Tyson Foods shares dropped 2% before recovering and rising again. Trump administration is ending temporary protected status for South Sudanese nationals in the United States. Roughly 232 people will be required to leave the country within 60 days or face deportations, even as South Sudan continues to face conflict and famine. Hopefully they will find a better place for them to be, but they cannot go back to Sudan, obviously. U.S. federal judge Karen Emmergut has issued a permanent injunction blocking the Trump administration from deploying National Guard troops to Oregon, ruling that there is no rebellion or breakdown of federal law enforcement to justify such an action. Go hang out at the federal courthouse there, honey, and see how long you do. Wear your robe, too. I bet they'll love you. Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro both refused to debate Tucker Carlson, claiming it would give anti-Semitism a platform. Really? Basically just said you can't debate him. Root stated that Russia will always undermine the new world, the world order, and urged NATO countries to prepare for a prolonged war. NATO Secretary General Root warned of the need to prepare for a long war with Russia. According to him, Moscow is strengthening its military capabilities and collaborating with China, North Korea, and Iran. One must not be naive, one must be ready, Root emphasized, pointing out that Russia will remain a destabilizing force even after the conflict in Ukraine ends. In light of these statements, Poland announced the preparation of 400,000 reservists by 2026 and plans to build its own drone wall. Meta is now running pro data center ads featuring small towns. The ads tout job creation, but a data center may only create 50 long-term jobs. Residents near Meta data centers have complained about nonstop noise, pollution, wells running dry, and rapidly rising electric bills. Do not let Meta put a data center in your town. You will freaking regret it. Everything that piece of crap touches is a piece of crap. Mark Zuckerberg needs to take a rocket ship to some other planet and GTFO. Trump endorsed Indian migrant Vivek Ramaswamy for governor of Ohio. Recall that last year Vivek insulted the American people, calling them mediocre, and praised his Indian South Asian co-ethnics for their better culture and work ethic, which Vivek claims allowed them to earn key positions in American companies by merit. Well, those companies and this country called America would not be there if it were not hardworking mofos like my great-great-great-great-grandfolks who came here, worked the land, and took on incredibly intensive measures to make it so you and your buddies can come over here and escape the terrible conditions of India. Just saying. All right, friends. God bless. Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you joining us and being a part of the community. Please hit that like button, to the subscribe thing, possibly become a member like Bad Bobber to keep the intel flowing. It takes about an hour and a half to do this 20 to 30 minute video. I do it every day. I tabulate, try to do 2 a day to keep up with the information. To all the supporters on Substack, whether you're paying or not, thank you very much. Please join Substack. Get that going. Keep it over 500 subscribers. I'd love to see it get to 1,000. Email comes in with all this. You can look at it, go to the links and stuff. If you don't like it, check this out. Burn a 13th of a calorie, hit the delete button, and move on with your life. Pretty cool. Yes, that's right, folks. At least we're not like my great-great-great-great-great-grandparents who had to go in there and kill things and start a farm and a homestead and everything else, as they did way, way, way back when in the great state of Ohio. You're here. You're now. This country's got a lot of problems, and we got to fix it. The only way to do that is to know all the problems going on, and that's what we cover here on the crisis report. So you can adapt and you can do things as best you can. As for me and my family, we are adapting. There's something going on in the background. I can't talk about it yet, but it's pretty big. And so if it goes, it's going to be really good for us. So I don't want to put it out there. I don't want to jinx it. But this week, I'll be having a big announcement should it go. Okay? Other than that, friends, God bless you all. Thanks so much for being here. And check out the other links, other areas, Subscribe Star, Locals, Twitter, X, Minds, Gab, True Social, all of those. Substack, of course. Thank you for joining us here on the growing, and it is growing, PrepperNow community. God bless you all, and we will see you on the next one.